Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Along This Spiritual Journey. So, I have talked a lot about different forms of healing, but one I've talked about primarily was ancestor healing. And I've had a few people say, what does that look like? So, for myself, I have recognized the pattern of behavior of my parents and how they interacted, and my parents' divorce and how that affected them and their upbringing as kids. And so when I took the time to start tracing back, like, how did my mom need to be loved? How did my dad need to be loved? Got it. Healed that timeline. The next one, how did my granddad of each of my mom and dad need to be loved? How did my grandma of each of my parents need to be loved? So on and so forth. When you allow yourself to work through those energies, again, you don't have to go back and trace it. It's kind of like tarot, where knowing your ancestry helps you pinpoint the attributes that were passed down to you. Remember, we are electric water beings that have a ton of memory. We have already proven scientifically that water has memory, which means everything in our body it's all made of water. It needs water. So there's going to be some level of retention of that original cell that came from your mother, and that original cell that came from her mother, your grandmother, that original cell that came from her mother, and so on and so forth. So there's always going to be some memory of our ancestors inside of us. This is why dreams are fascinating. In my opinion, I believe that just how we just recognize a lot of people are fascinated with AI technology and how it takes bits and pieces of all the knowledge it has and it puts together an image. That's what dreams are, essentially. They are past life memories of past lives of our ancestors who did live in ancient times and lived in all these different moments in time, which is why sometimes us as these physical beings, when we channel and we resonate with totem spirits and other things, when we're like, this is who I am. Of course it's who you are because it was your last spirit being, but it's also accumulation of your ancestors. And so when you, the physical flesh, who's now the avatar, which is what the whole show is based on, when you can cleanse yourself of your own emotional trauma, physical trauma, spiritual trauma from your own upbringing and the society that you currently live in, while still be able to transmute that energy into something that's positive and works for you, then you break a karmic cycle. Then when you're able to go back and share that with your family and your siblings and people of that nature, it doesn't mean they have to heal, but being able to speak your truth is how you break karmic cycles. This is how it goes over and over and over. And the more you do this, the more your ancestors work through you and you create a legacy energetically.